Yes, Tim. Let's start. Tim. In this session, we are going to start AWS Fundamentals. As part of AWS Fundamentals, let's start understanding uh, different concepts we are going to discuss as part of AWS Fundamentals. Tim. Uh, I can say AWS Fundamentals is starting point of your AWS journey, whether you may be AWS administrator or AWS DevOps engineer or AWS data analyst or AWS data engineer or AWS data scientist or Gen AI. These AWS fundamentals, I can say it is a starting point of your AWS journey. So here we will start first understanding AWS cloud, like what is AWS, what are different key features of AWS, history of AWS, plus we are going to discuss what are different service categories are available, and then we are going to discuss what are different services are available. Briefly, we are going to discuss it, and then AWS pricing. Okay, and once we complete AWS introduction, then we are going to discuss creating AWS free account. And then we are going to understand how to sign in AWS account. Once we do this practical, we are going to discuss how to connect with AWS account. What are different ways to connect AWS account? Okay, then we are going to discuss what is free tier. How can we utilize free tier for our practice purpose? And then we are going to discuss AWS Global Infrastructure Introduction. And then uh, we are going to discuss different AWS services introduction. So these are the main concepts we are going to cover as part of AWS fundamentals. Yeah, let's start understanding what is AWS as part of AWS fundamentals. First, AWS is a product from Amazon. A full form of AWS is Amazon Web Services, and it is a cloud computing platform. It is what cloud computing platform. It offers products like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. It offers these products in AWS Cloud. AWS Cloud currently having 200 plus services. AWS Cloud, AWS Cloud currently providing 200 plus services to 200 plus services in different categories like uh, infrastructure, creating virtual machines, adding memories, means adding storages kind of services. So it provides services like infrastructure, data analytic purpose, data science purpose, data engineering purpose. Okay, different categories. Uh, they are providing currently total 200 plus services. It offers services like distributed computing, storage, network, artificial intelligence, databases, securities, and data engineering services like Glue, Athena, and it supports it providing different services to. What is the advantage of going cloud computing? What is the advantage of going cloud computing? We have on-premise concept. Let's say on-premise concept. So let's say we are going to take a data center means a place, a place. Let's say, let's say I have a company called X company. For X company, I am developing e-commerce application, e-commerce application. For this e-commerce application, I want I want 200 missions, 200 missions. So I created a cluster. I created a cluster with 200 missions in Y location in Hyderabad. Hyderabad, let's say in North Hyderabad, North Hyderabad, I, I set up 500 node cluster mission. Sorry, 200 node cluster mission. So I'm thinking if there is any problem in North Hyderabad, I may face this cluster may not available. Then I for disaster recovery in other location data center, I purchased another data center. Then in Hyderabad, let's say South Hyderabad, South Hyderabad, I set up another cluster. Then I deployed my e-commerce application into these data centers. So initially, I'm getting only few customers to access this application. For providing services to these few customers, this much infrastructure is not required, but we purchased and we recruited multiple people for this purpose. So here charges are two more, more. But for this purpose, if you choose cloud like AWS, we are going to pay as you go basis. Today I want only 3 missions, and later I want to scale. Later I want to scale. Based on my business growth, I want to scale. Let's say disaster recovery, I can take in another availability zone called data center or another region. Instead of Hyderabad region, I want to take Mumbai region also. Yes, you can. So that is the advantage of cloud computing. Cloud computing, you can add resources, you can remove resources at any point of time. And next one, how many resources you used, you can pay only for that. These kind of facilities, we can get it from cloud computing like AWS, like AWS too. Okay. Like AWS, there are another cloud computings like Azure, Google Cloud Platform, IBM Cloud, Oracle Cloud. We have different cloud computing vendors. Okay, clear writing? What is AWS Cloud? Yeah, let's start understanding AWS key features. So first one, scalability. Scalability. So team, we created one virtual machine in AWS Cloud using service called EC2. 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 Okay. For my X project, I deployed project into this one. Here, I deployed this project live. Then customers are started using this application. Customers are started using this application. Then one resource not sufficient to provide new customers. Then we can do vertical scaling. Within this, you can increase sizes like RAM, processor, processor, and storage. Storage. You can scale vertical scaling, or you can create multiple missions. Depends upon your requirement. Depends upon your requirement. You can scale resources. Horizontal scaling. You can enable auto scaling. Let's say min I want one mission and max I want to, let's say, 250 missions. In auto scaling feature, if customers are increased, I can say increase max to this one. So based on the load balancing, it will scale resources, and if number of requests are reduced, it will reduce resources. If you set up a auto scaling, increase resources, decrease resources. If it is on premise, we have to take 250 missions whether we are using or not. We have to pay rent for data centers. We have to pay salary for different types of administrators. Next one, security team. Next, coming to security. I said in AWS, we have 200 plus services. 200 plus services. Currently, AWS offering 200 plus services. First one, let's say X project, there are 10 developers are working. Okay. 5 data engineers are working. 5 data engineers are working. 2 testers are working. 1 administrator is working for this X project. Okay. And based on their role, I do not want to give these 200 services access. Based on their role, I want to give access on services. So here, there is one special service called AWS IAM. AWS IAM. Using AWS IAM, sorry, we can create users, we can create groups, we can assign policies, we can create roles, many more. So using IAM, we can achieve security. So based on the roles, we can give an access, so that based on policy assigned to that user, then they can access. 1 minute. Yeah. So Based on their access levels, we can give different policies to users, so that based on the policy assigned to users or group of users, they can access services. All users cannot have permission to access all 200 services. Based on the policy we assigned, based on that policy, they can access services too. So we can achieve first level security using AWS IAM. Like this, we have multiple security features like AWS KMS. All security information we can keep inside service called AWS KMS. And some services like S3 having feature called encryption. It provides server-side encryption and client-side encryption. So like this, we have multiple security features available in AWS team. And next one, it supports flexibility, means supports multiple operating systems and multiple programming languages. Let's say I want to create a virtual machine. There is a service called EC2, EC2, and I want to create virtual machine with 64 GB RAM, 64 GB RAM, and 32 cores plus, and I want operating system is Ubuntu. I want operating system is Fedora, CentOS, or Windows. So it provides multiple operating systems, whatever operating system you required, you can choose at the time of EC2 instance creation. Next one, Tim. Next important one thing. Let's say this is AWS Cloud. We have 200 plus services, and it provides SDK, and software development kit for different programming languages like Java, .NET, Python, Node.js, and many more to connect with AWS cloud, like other technologies like AWS Lambda. So you can develop AWS Lambda implementations using Java, using .NET, using Python, using Node.js, using different programmatic approach. So AWS Cloud not only support not for one programming language, it supports multiple programming languages. It is never for only one programming language. It never stick for one programming language. It supports multiple programming languages. Whatever programming language you compatible, you can use it, you can implement applications to on AWS Cloud. Next one thing, reliability. So very important feature is reliability. Let's say uh, this is AWS Cloud and Mumbai region. In Mumbai region, let's say uh, it will, so every region means geographical location. It maintain minimum of three availability zones too. Three availability zones. Short form is AZ1, 2, 3. Let's say this is Mumbai region. In every region, Minimum, it maintains 3 availability zones. Why it maintains 3 availability zones? Let's say due to natural disasters like earthquake or floods or some other issues. Let's say availability zone 1 completely not available. Assume availability zone 1 completely not available. So applications running in availability zone completely not available, right? So to solve this problem, minimum they will maintain 3 availability zones. Availability zone in generic scenario is a data center. Let's say North Mumbai, South Mumbai, East Mumbai, East Mumbai. They maintain different data centers. So if entire North Mumbai facing with floods, then your application you may replicate it in South Mumbai and East Mumbai, then you can access from these centers. So mainly multiple availability zones uh, we use for solving failover mechanisms issues. Next one then. Yeah. Mm. No, while deploying our application, we will deploy into multiple availability zones. It will not replicate into other availability zone. We will already deploy our application into multiple availability zones. While setup, yes, yes, no. While setuping our cluster, we can say, let's say, uh, this mission availability zone, this mission availability zone 2, this mission availability zone, this mission in this availability zone. Like that, we will configure. Yes, we can choose while setting a cluster for your application, we can choose a availability zones. Let's say you are thinking entire Mumbai may affect. In that case, you can choose another region, called it as cross region. Let's say I want Hyderabad or I want USA. I want USA or Canada. So you can also having a option called cross region. Along with the multi-availability zones, we have a cross region also. One mission in North Mumbai, one mission in Canada, one mission in UK. You can, while setting cluster, we can choose. Yeah, tell. Yes, yes, correct. Region. Yes, yes, correct, correct. Yeah. So this multi-availability zone feature, along with this multi-availability zone, we have a cross region. We can replicate our cluster missions in multiple regions so that we can make our application available 24 by 7. If it is on premise, we have to set up like that. We need a lot of investment, lot of maintenance. And next one, cost effective. let's say tip, let's say tip. In one application, let's say X is a e-commerce application. E-commerce application. I set up one mission in uh, Mumbai region. Mumbai region, and here I enabled auto scaling feature. In this, I set up min one, min one, and max 200 missions. I enabled auto scaling feature. Sorry. Yep. So let me add a point here. Let's say team uh, Mumbai region. Region means geographical location. In Mumbai region, data center called availability zone. So AWS people creates minimum of 3 availability zones. In each availability zone, you can create any number of missions. There is no limit. You can choose. You can paying, right? They give access to set up any number of missions. Assume, assume for X e-commerce application, I set up one mission. I deployed my e-commerce application. This application may be developed using Java or Python or .NET, etc. We deployed here in auto scaling feature. I set up minimum of 1 and maximum of 200. Then I enabled load balancer. In this load balancer, I configured like this. Let's say uh, greater than, let's say one mission can process 1 lakh request at a time. Assume. So if more than 1 lakh, create one more mission. If greater than 2 lakh, create another mission. Like this, I configured load. So auto scaling, minimum I said 1, maximum I said 200. So these missions scale up to 200 missions. Based on the load, it is creating. Same application replicating automatically to provide services. Okay, let's say requests are reduced, let's say at 6 p.m. Requests are reduced to less than 1 lakh, then these resources automatically release. Then finally you have one mission, minimum of one. Okay, so cost effective. If it is on premise, we have to set up 200 missions, whether we are using or not. But here, based on your load, missions are scaling, and based on the load reduce, missions are going to remove. Feature called auto scaling and load balancing, we can achieve this feature. Same application going to replicate in new missions. They set up auto scaling feature. They give this details so that in new mission, same software is going to deploy and it is going to serve for new clients, new customers. So in this way, we can set up load balancing, auto scaling feature so that we can achieve cost effectiveness. Morning 10 a.m. to morning 10 a.m. to evening 6 p.m. I have only customers less than 1 lakh only. Then I need only one mission. And before 10 a.m., most of the people accessing my application. After 6 p.m., my application using by multiple customers. For that, I no need multiple missions running at a time. You can enable these kind of features. You can save cost of your application. No need to invest money for upfront, like on-premise. Whether we are thinking we need 200 machines we purchased in on-premise, but here you no need to pay 200 machines at a time. Based on resources using, you can pay as you go basis. So plenty of features making people to use AWS cloud for their AWS for their purposes too. These are some important key features. Yeah, let's start understanding uh, history of AWS too. AWS cloud, AWS cloud started by by Amazon, Amazon, Amazon. Initially, it started with one service called AWS S3. It is a storage service. It started with the first cloud service called AWS S3. It is a storage service, and then uh, now it is offering 200 plus services, 200 plus services in AWS cloud for different purposes: storage purpose, networking purpose, security purpose, data analytical purpose, data engineering purpose, DevOps purpose, and databases purpose, applications purpose, machine learning purpose, artificial intelligence purpose, IoT purpose, this one, quantum computing purpose. For every purpose, gaming purpose, they are providing multiple services in different categories. So right now, it is offering 200 plus services. It started with first service called Amazon S3. Later, it added EC2 in the same year. Then now it expanded to 200 plus services. 200 plus services. In different years, they added different services. Right now, we have 200 plus services. And AWS cloud is the leading in cloud computing. Compared to other clouds, AWS cloud is the leading cloud computing vendor. Let's say databases purpose. It is offering RDS service. With RDS, you can choose any database you want, or you can create EC2 instance. You can install any database. Data warehousing purpose, it is providing Redshift. Streaming purpose, it is providing Kinesis. Serverless computing purpose, it is providing Lambda. Data engineering purpose, it is providing Glue, Athena, Kinesis, QuickSight, QuickSight for data analytic purpose. There are plenty of services too. So currently it is offering what? 200 plus services as part of AWS cloud computing. And it is one of the compute leading leader in cloud computing. Competitors for AWS cloud is one from Microsoft Azure, another from Google Cloud Platform. But among these three, who is the leader in cloud computing is AWS. AWS is the leader in cloud computing because it started before those cloud computings, and it is from Amazon. Amazon having lot of storage. They are into e-commerce business. They have a lot of storage. They are planning to share their storage to others. Then they started storage service called S3. Initially, they started service called S3 in cloud computing. Then later, they expanded multiple services. So currently, they are offering 200 plus services. So here you can see different services in different categories. Let's say compute. You can see different services. Okay. Yes. Now let's see how to connect AWS cloud. Let's say AWS, we have multiple regions, multiple regions. First, I want to connect AWS account. So multiple ways we can connect AWS cloud to. One is AWS providing AWS Management Console. AWS Management Console. It is a web user interface. You can use AWS Management Console. You can connect AWS Cloud. You can select a region, whatever the region you want. Second approach is you can install AWS CLI in your developer mission or your mission. You may be developer, you may be administrator, you may be tester. You can install the CLI software. This CLI software available for Windows, Linux, and Mac operating system. Using this, you can send commands to communicate with AWS Cloud. Other approach, using different programmatic languages. For every programming language, AWS providing SDK. SDK stands for Software Development Kit. Through this SDK, we can communicate with AWS Cloud. Okay. Let's see practically using AWS Management Console. Open any web browser. I already opened Google Chrome. Let's say here, I am opening aws.amazon.com. Here, right side, you can see account. You can click on AWS Management Console. Then you can log in using root user. So click on root user. Here you can see two users. One is root user, second one is IAM user. So once you create AWS account with X email, that X email is a root user. So whatever the email ID we given for creating AWS account, at that time you will provide a username, right? So that email, that account is root user account. Once you log in root user, using IAM service, you can create a IAM users. Let's say 10 developers are working. You can create AWS account for 10 developers and 8 data engineers are working. You can create separate users for AWS data engineers. 2 testers are working. You can create it. And 1 admin is working. You can create it. And you can create users. You can create groups. You can assign policies to users, policies to group. Okay. So clear, right? So that they can have a access of different services. So whatever the policy you give to user, based on that user can access services too. So in this first time, if you are logging, choose root user, then enter your root user email ID. And once you click on next button, it will open a password. You have to enter password. Once you enter root user and password, then it will directly takes home page for you. But I already created my account and I enabled multi-factor authentication to my email ID. Along with the password, I enabled multi-factor authentication. So I have yeah. So once you create an account, you will get a free tier access, and you need to know free tier limits for all the services. Let's say I want to use EC2. What is the limitation of EC2? Free tier limitation of EC2. I want to use S3. You have to know what is the free tier limit of S3. Once a free tier is completed, then they are going to generate a billing. So once you log in, right side, you can see regions. You can select a nearest region for you. For me, nearest region is Mumbai. I'm selecting Mumbai as my region. Then right side, you can see your username. You can see here, you can see account, and you can see billing and cost management. You can click on billing and cost management. You can find billing of your account. You can click on bills. You can see month-wise bills. Let's say this month, this month not yet generated anything because still uh, you can see here. So $37. So see each service it is showing. You can find see dollars zero total services I used, but for all these services I utilized under free tier only. Okay. So you can select a month. If you are using this one from multiple months, it will give a list of months. You can select a month. Every month, let's see here, you can see November. October onwards I am using. Click on November, check November billing. November also, no billing. Let's see October. October also, no billing. I used these services. Okay. So every month it will show billing team. So clear writing. So click on AWS. Here, this is our home page. Here you can see recently visited services. In your case, you may see empty, but my case, I am using these services already. That's why it is showing recently visited. In search bar, whatever the service you want, you can search, you can open. Okay. Once you open that service, you can see in recently visited. Next time, instead of searching, you can go from recently visited. Yeah, yeah. Let's continue, team. In this session, Let's start understanding what is free tier, how to know free tier details of multiple AWS services. There is a URL aws.amazon.com/free. You can execute, open any web browser. Okay, I already opened uh, Google Chrome and enter this URL aws.amazon.com/free. You no need to log in. You just enter this URL. Then you can see free plans and you can see explore our offers. You can select a service you want. So total 187 services comes under free tier. Okay. Select the service you want. Let's say I want to know EC2 details. You can go through this documentation. You can find complete free tier usage details. For EC2, for EC2, for free tier eligible, they give 1 GB RAM. Earlier, it was 1 core processor. Now, they added 2 core processor and 30 GB hard disk space, 1 public IP, 1 private IP, 1 public DNS, 1 private DNS, 1 public DNS, and 1 private DNS. They are going to give. Let me add this one. Let's say okay. So 1 GB RAM and 2 core processor. Earlier it was 1 core processor. Now they given 2 core processor and then 30 GB hard disk space, 1 public IP, 1 private IP, 1 public DNS, 1 private DNS. Earlier it was 12 months. They changed it to 6 months. They changed it to 6 months. So let's say if you created two EC2 instances, let's say you created two EC2 instances. So if you created two instances means 6 months by 2 means 3 months you can use two instances freely. So earlier it was only 1 core processor. Now they are giving 2 core processor team. 2 core processor. Earlier one instance 12 months free, but now they are giving only 1 month. Now they are giving only 1 month to them. Sorry, 6 months. 6 months, not 1 month, 6 months. So clear writing, easy to related. And if you in this user interface, right, earlier it is very, very informative. You can find the complete details in this free tier free tier user interface. So here you can see uh, view details. See here you are seeing brief details. If you want more details, you can click on this one. And if you want pricing, you can click on this one. You can see pricing details. Pricing details. Earlier, you can see more information than this new interface, but every time they are modifying this user interface too. So for free tier, you will get these eligibilities too. Easy to instance. Coming to S3. Coming to S3, 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 they give 5 GB free for lifetime. If you want to use S3 service, S3 service, S3 service, 5 GB they are giving lifetime. If 5 GB failed, then it is pay as you go basis. You can click on pricing. You can see pricing calculator for your regions. Let's say select a region. I'm selecting region is Mumbai region or Hyderabad region. Let's say I'm selecting Mumbai region. Then once your free tier is completed, then what is the charges of your your data size more than 5 GB if you use? Then so these are different prices. Later we are going to discuss different storage classes to reduce cost of S-rating. Let's say some data we are using regularly, some data we are using occasionally. Such kind of occasional use data, instead of a standard storage class, we use different storage classes for reducing cost. Okay. Yep. Let's continue AWS Fundamentals team. In this, let's understand AWS services categories. Let me open AWS Cloud, uh, AWS Cloud Management Consulting. So this web user interface, we call it as AWS Management Console. In this, you can see these dots. Click on a top of AWS Management Console, left side. You can see dots. Click on dots. Here you can see different categories. You can see different categories. Analytical category. You can see Athena and multiple other services, EMR, Cloud Search, AWS Data Exchange, etc. Application integration purpose, you can see different services. Blockchain, we can see different services. Business application, you can see different services. Cloud financial, different category. Compute, different category. Containers means DevOps purpose. Uh, Customer enhancement, enablement, database purpose, different category. And end user computing, different category. You can see front end and web mobile, different category. Game development, different category. You can see IoT purpose, different category. ML purpose, different category. And migration and transfer, networking, quantum computing, satellite, security and identity, storage purpose. You can see multiple categories too. So AWS divided services into different categories. I said AWS currently offering 200 plus services. 200 plus services. All these services, all these services divided into multiple categories like compute purpose means creating virtual machines, and serverless computing, etc. So for all those purpose, there are multiple services. Storage purpose, sorry, uh, that is separate category. Compute is separate category. Storage purpose, database purpose, networking purpose, security purpose, analytical purpose, AI and machine learning purpose, DevOps purpose. They created different categories. Again, each category contain different services. Okay, yeah, yeah. So let's start understanding AWS service system as part of AWS fundamentals. Let's start understanding AWS services. AWS offering 200 plus services in different categories. 200 plus services in different categories. Okay. Let's say a category called compute. A category called compute. In this, we have different services like EC2. I want to create virtual machine in AWS cloud. We use this service. So I want compute means I want to RAM, I want a processor, and I want these things. Yes or no? So we need virtual machine. For that virtual machine, I need resources like RAM and processor. We can get those all things using one service called EC2. And let's take storage service. In storage, what we do? We store the data. Storage purpose, we have a services like S3. Databases. What is the purpose of database? To store the data in a structured form, in tabular format. For that purpose, we have different services like RDS. Let me open AWS Management Console. Okay, go to computing, compute, see EC2, and we have different other services, Lambda, and we have other services. Go to our database category. So Aurora and RDS. Along with this one, we have Aurora DSQL, Amazon Document DB, DynamoDB, Elastic Cache, Amazon Keyspace, Amazon uh, Memory DB, Neptune DB, Oracle Database at AWS, and multiple other database related. Go to storage. Go to storage. Storage. In storage, we see EFS, Elastic File System, S3, Simple Storage Service, S3 Glacier. To reduce cost, we use S3 Glacier service. Along with this one, we can see different storage services. Okay, let me discuss most popular services people uses EC2, EC2 for for creating virtual machines. S3 for storing huge volumes of datasets. IAM for authentication and authorization. IAM for authentication and authorization. And next one, you can see uh, Glue for Glue for ETL operations. Glue for ETL operations. Athena for analytics. Athena for analytics using SQL queries. You can write SQL queries for data analytics. QuickSight for reporting purpose, like Power BI. Like Power BI, there is one tool called QuickSight. Next one, Kinesis. Kinesis for Kinesis for streaming purpose. Next one, RDS, AWS RDS, Relational Database Service. Without RDS, we have to create EC2 instance missions. Then we have to install database. We have to do administration, everything manually. To avoid all admin tasks, we go with RDS. We fill nice template with required details. Okay. Then AWS will taken care to create database for you and upgradations and admin kind of taking backups, everything taken care by AWS. We focus on SQL development. And like this, we have Lambda. Lambda is a Lambda is a serverless computing system. Using this, you can implement event-driven applications. You can implement API kind of applications. Next one, CloudWatch. CloudWatch. Let's say you want to store logs. You want to store logs. We use most popular service called CloudWatch. We configure CloudWatch with your jobs so that all logs are going to store it into CloudWatch. SNS, simple notification service. You want to send a notification to, uh, let's say, the resource is completed, or resource is filled, process are complete, utilized completely, or your job failed, or your job success. You want to send email notification or mobile notification. Then you can create SNS. Next one, next one. Let's say we have services, multiple services name, code deploy, like Git, and ML service for machine learning, AI service for artificial intelligence, IoT service for developing smart home implementations, and many services. These are some important services. Let me show you services list. We have multiple services team. We have EC2, Elastic Beanstalk, Lambda, S3, Elastic Block Store, Route 53. You want to configure IP to website, IP to URL to IP, we can use Route 53. And networking purpose, virtual private cloud, Amazon VPC, Aurora database. Yeah, you can see Athena Redshift for data warehousing. And we have CloudWatch, CloudFormation, and let's see, uh, plenty of service system, 200 plus services available in multiple categories team. And KMS, key management service, for storing uh, sensitive informations like password information. We can put in KMS. DynamoDB, it is one of the NoSQL database in AWS cloud. DocumentDB, like AWS DocumentDB, like MongoDB kind of implementation. So there are plenty of services uh, currently offering AWS offering 200 plus service system in different categories. Step functions, very, very important. If you want to implement orchestration, means creating data pipelines for your jobs. Then we use step functions to create data pipelines for any AWS service. We go with step functions. And CloudWatch we understand for creating logs. And code commit, it is like a Git. So lot of services. There are plenty of services. Currently AWS offering 200 plus services. Yeah. Now let's understand pricing model team. Pricing is pay as you go basis team. Pay as you go basis. Example, let's take EC2 service. EC2 service. EC2 service comes with 12 months free trial, 12 months free trial, free trial eligible, free trial eligible. Recently, they modified 12 months to 6 months. AWS people changed free tier eligibility from 12 months to 6 months. Okay, first one. Second one, for free tier, they are giving 1 GB RAM, 1 GB RAM, and 2 core processor, 2 core processor, and 30 GB hard disk space. 30 GB hard disk space. But my requirement is, let's say I developed application. Let's say, analytical application using Python and PySpark. For this application, I want, let's say, 50 missions. I want 50 missions. Each mission I want 32 GB RAM, 32 GB RAM, and I want 16 core processor, 16 core processor, and 1 TB hard disk space, like that. Let's say this one, I want to run on this entire cluster setup. I want to give demo to my client 1 or X client. I want to show my application how it is performing for existed problems. I want to give demo. For this purpose, I need 1 hour only. 1 hour with all these resources. Then you can go with pay as you go basis. You can set up a cluster and you can show demo to client. Once demo is completed, you can remove. For all these, how much amount is required, AWS people generate, then you can pay later. As part of your monthly billing, you can pay later. So your requirement is only 1 hour. For that, you no need to purchase hardware with these many resources, right? Once a client is satisfied, he may take account in AWS Cloud. He may set up these many resources. He may purchase our analytic application. He may going to deploy. For our requirement, just we want to show demo to client how it will work, how it resolves existed problems, how it will optimize. We want to show to client. For that, I need only 1 hour with these resources. Then pay as you go basis. One more point to take. One more point. Let's say I want to instances team. I want instances, okay? But those instances I am using for my bank application or my finance application or my healthcare application. I do not want publicly shareable resources. I want dedicated resources. Let's say I want Mumbai region in availability zone 1. These any dedicated resources I want. And Mumbai region availability zone 2. These many resources. Zone 3. These many dedicated resources. My client is a banking client. My client is a financial client. My client is a healthcare client. They do not have a budget issue. They want to dedicate a resource. They can purchase, but instead of maintaining resources 24/7. So I do not want my client to do not want to do all this administration. They pay for that. So AWS, we can ask AWS for reserved instances compared to pay as you go basis reserved instances. They have a little cost high, but if you are taking multiple resources, then they offer with special prices. Third type of pricing model team, spot instances. Just now I explained one scenario. I want 50 resources, only 1 hour. After 1 hour, I do not want. Then my budget is only this much for these kind of resources. We can bid resources in AWS with particular price. Hey AWS, I want these many resources with this much price. You can bid called spot instances to save cost. What is the advantage? You get less price compared to pay as you go basis. Pay as you go basis. Once resources created, once you deploy, once you run, your work is completed. You will stop resources, right? Once you stop resources, those resources going to tell it automatically. If you select a pay as you go basis, once you stop, still you have option to restart. But in spot instances, once you stop, those are going to expire. You can run 24/7. You can run 365 days, no problem. But once you stop, those are going to expire because you selected bid basis. Okay. So my requirement is only 1 hour. After 1 hour, if I stop, it has to expire or it has to run. I don't care. My requirement is only 1 hour. That too, I want to show to my client. I want to reduce cost. Spot instances is best feature. Let's say pay as you go basis. Assume you are getting charge of 10K INR. Assume. Then you can ask you can bid. Let's say I will pay 5,000 INR. Then AWS people will give spot instance and you can take 50 instances with the specified resources. You can create, you can deploy, you can run. Once you stop, those are going to tell it automatically. Okay. So such kind of spot requirements, you can choose spot instances. Yeah. Let's continue AWS Fundamentals team. As part of this one, let's continue AWS Global Infrastructure Overview. Okay, let me open this URL tip, AWS Global Infrastructure. Okay, so let's see here. AWS Cloud spans 120 availability zones with 38 geographical regions. Region means location, geographical location tip. Region. Example, Hyderabad is one region. Mumbai is one region. Canada, in Canada, particular state, if they select, that is one region. So total worldwide, they have 38 regions. In 38 locations, they have uh, availability zones. Let's say take one availability zone, Mumbai. In Mumbai, minimum any region. Let's say Mumbai is one region. Mumbai is one region. In that, they will select minimum of 3 availability zones. 3 availability zones. Availability zone means data center in generic terminology. Why they take minimum of 3 availability zones is for disaster recoveries or failure, or to resolve problems of these failures, disaster recoveries. These kind of issue resolution, they maintain minimum of 3 availability zones. Let's say I am from India. I am from India. All my clients are Indians. Very rarely I'm having uh, foreign clients, but most of my clients for my application is Indians. So I choose region is Mumbai for my application, because if they send any web request, Mumbai is very nearest for them. They will get response faster. Nowadays, we are having good internet. So even if you set up cluster in US, UK, Canada, and some other countries also, you are getting responses very faster. But compared to placing my entire application in Canada, UK, US, a little faster in Mumbai, accessing my application little faster compared to them. Even though your internet is good, but if you deploy nearest location, but compared to that, this is little faster, yes or no? So that's why we choose region. Let's say I choose an application Mumbai. Entire my application I deployed in availability zone 1. I created multiple missions called group of missions called cluster. Okay, I set up a cluster. I deployed my application in single availability zone. In Mumbai, earthquake happened, or uh, some natural disaster happens, or completely suffering with the floods in North Mumbai. Let's say availability zone 1 is presented in North Mumbai. Let's say entire North Mumbai is not working. Then problem is what? I am unable to access my application. That's why AWS people providing minimum of 3 availability zones. Instead of setting all your cluster missions in a single availability zone, you can span into multiple availability zones called data centers. So, you have missions in multiple availability zones. If request coming to your application, then your request transferred to other availability zones so that you can access your application without failing. Because of solving these kind of issues, minimum AWS people maintain 3 availability zones in each region, minimum. So currently, how many availability zones are available? 120 availability zones are available. They are planning 10 more availability zones and 3 more regions. Means maybe in next visit of this global infrastructure, maybe we may see 41 geographical regions and 130 availability zones. At this point of time, 120. Later, if we may visit, see, previous class explanation, just previous class explanation, check here, 120 availability zones, 38 geographical locations. And before this, there is different count. I modified recently for previous class. It's a week back. That's why I didn't see any differences. Okay. Earlier they given in this format, but now they changed look and feel is in this formatting. Global. You can scroll globe. You can select a country. You can see regions list. You can click on any region. It will show available zones tip. Click on Asia Pacific. In Asia Pacific, these are Asia Pacific countries. So you can see Asia Pacific countries. So in Asia Pacific, we have Hyderabad and Mumbai. In India, we have region. Under region, again we have zones, availability zone. Yes. Yeah, 3 availability zones available. Yeah, you can see, let me go. This is my AWS management console. You can select region you want. Once you click on region, okay, here, whenever you want to create a EC2 instance, here it will ask which availability zone you want to create. Here we can choose a zone. Here we have option called availability zones. Yes, correct. Yes, correct. No, you can select a can see it like this. Availability zone 1, availability zone 2, availability zone 3. You can select. So this is Mumbai region, AP-South-1 A, AP-South-1 1C, AP-South-1B. You can see each region numbers. All are Mumbai region. AP-South 1, AP-South 1, AP-South 1, 1A, 1B, 1C. Three different availability zones.